What up, guys? Real Geek, aka Wicked Specials here, to do my Superstar Shakeup predictions, my talk, to see what I think is going to happen next week at WWE Superstar Shakeup. If you're not familiar with it, if you're just kind of coming into wrestling off of WrestleMania, Superstar Shakeup is kind of an annual thing they do now. They used to do it every year, again back when they had the brand split the first time, but it was called the draft before, when superstars from each show would switch shows for the next year, and we get some shakeups, we get some new and interesting matchup possibilities, some new rivalries, some teams breaking up. It's a bittersweet time for all wrestling fans, and very exciting because it's something new. It's almost like the season premiere of the next season for wrestling. Wrestling goes around year round, but this is like post WrestleMania, fresh start. We see what happens as we go into the next year. I kind of wish they would go back to the draft aspect of it, mainly because it made it feel more real. It had that kind of that real sports feel to it with the draft, with two teams. They pick who they want on each show. They make picks, and the shakeup just feels random. It feels predetermined and random, which it is predetermined and random, kind of. The predetermined part for sure. The random part, kind of up in the air as to how random it actually is. But it would have more of a real feel to it back when it was a draft as opposed to a shakeup. That being said, here's what I think is going to happen at this year's Superstar Shakeup. First up, Raw is going to get some huge changes. I think it's going to be a big one this year. I think we're going to see, first up, I think we're going to see Samoa Joe take his United States title back over to Raw and defend it over to there. We saw a hint of that with Braun Strowman attacking him on SmackDown on Tuesday. Some thinking that maybe that could be Braun Strowman could be going to SmackDown, which could be an interesting possibility, but I think it's more likely that we're going to get the titles switched over. So Samoa Joe takes his title over to Raw, and then feuds over there, and we get some new matches where he can fight Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley in like a TNA thing, so Samoa Joe could turn face from that one, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Lashley could be face. I don't know. It could be see some interesting possibilities with that. That being said, I think Finn Balor is going to take the Intercontinental title, take that over to SmackDown. Finn Balor's been a mainstay of Raw for as long as he's been on there, so I think it's time to take his title, move that over to the Blue brand, and see what happens over there. You can pair him back up with Gallows and Anderson again, unless they get moved over. Hell, he could even feud with AJ Styles. He could team with AJ Styles. Like, so many possibilities with Finn Balor and the Intercontinental title back over on SmackDown. I think, speaking of people switching from SmackDown over to Raw, I think the Usos are going to go back over to Raw. They've done just about all they can on SmackDown. They've held the titles, they've defended the titles multiple times. They are completely different characters than they were the last time they were over on Raw. They're now tougher. They've got the whole Uso Penitentiary thing. They're not the whole haka chanting, face paint wearing characters that we saw before the last time they were on Raw. Well, not counting the time they beat the shit out of everybody with the SmackDown people when the Survivor Series thing from a year or two back. That was pretty rad, pretty badass. I think also Kevin Owens is going to go back over to Raw. They haven't done anything with him really since he came back on SmackDown, so I think that to me is an indication that they don't have anything for him on SmackDown. But put him on Raw, put him back on Raw, put him either with Sami Zayn again or get Sami Zayn. That could be an interesting dynamic here. Have those two guys feud, but this time Kevin Owens is the face in this one and Sami Zayn the heel. That could be something fun. That could be really interesting. Speaking of people that they're not doing anything with, I think Luke Harper should go over to Raw. Give him a fresh start. Give him some new opportunities since he hasn't really been done anything with him since the Bludgeon Brothers broke up and Eric Rowan became the toughest looking barista in any Starbucks you've ever seen, being Daniel Bryan's muscle. I think maybe also Daniel Bryan could go over to Raw. That could be interesting. And also, along with that, I think the person who beat him at WrestleMania, I think Kofi Kingston could go over to Raw, and we can get a cross title switch again with the WWE Championship over on Raw, and the Universal title moving to SmackDown. And that, I think, could be really interesting in a lot of ways, mainly because Seth Rollins has also been a mainstay on Raw for the longest time. And it could be interesting to see him move over, apart from Roman Reigns, move him over to SmackDown, defend that title on a different brand with different people that we haven't seen him fight before. That could be a lot of fun. That could be fantastic television right there. And that would definitely get this guy interested in watching the show on a weekly basis again. Continuing to watch it as I've been gotten back into it in the WrestleMania season. I also think on SmackDown, I think Drew McIntyre is going to go back, going to keep staying on SmackDown, as we saw that kind of tease with him teaming with The Bar this past Tuesday. I think we're going to see that switch definitely continue over. I think also Ricochet and Aleister Black are going to be mainstays on SmackDown for right now. They've been on both shows, Raw and SmackDown, and they've been trying to figure out which show is the best fit for them, and I think they're going to end up on SmackDown for the time being. That being said, I think another former NXT tag team, I think the Authors of Pain, are going to come up when I don't know which one got injured, Razor, whichever one of them got injured is healed up, they're going to come back over to the Blue brand this time and wreak some havoc over there, along with because we saw, I hear rumors, well not rumors, I was saying pictures, that EC3 was at a house show, well, not even a house show, it was the dark match on SmackDown this past week, on SmackDown roster, managed by, not Spud, but Drake, as he's called now, Drake Maverick. I think they're going to move them, Author of the Pain, and EC3 over to SmackDown, and that'll shake things up, that'll give some new interesting dynamics here. I also think AJ Styles is going to go over to Raw as well. They kind of teased that before, but they've done just about all they can with AJ Styles over on SmackDown. So put him over to Raw, let Raw be the house of AJ Styles belts, maybe, and we'll see what happens going forward from there. As far as the women's roster, both of their championships are on both brands, so there's no real point in switching them over, since they can just kind of show up as needed, as excitement is needed. Just, go over to whichever show you want to put them on, and that's cool. That keeps it interesting for everybody. I think, you never know what woman is gonna show up on each show each week, so that kind of brings up that element of surprise that we used to have back in the Attitude Era and in the past. You don't know who's going to show up, you don't know what's going to happen, and that is what they need to do going forward to keep fans interested, is bring back that element of surprise, bring back that, oh God, what's going to happen next? That is what I miss about the old days of wrestling. Not so much the extra, sure, the extra violence and all that other, and the language and all that crude stuff, that was cool, that was hilarious. But it's not that same era anymore, it's a new era. But we do need to very much take the element of surprise in live television that used to happen in the old days and put that back into the new era of wrestling. And yeah, that is my picks for the Superstar Shakeup this year. It'd be crazy to see how close and accurate my guesses, my predictions actually are. So we'll have to stay tuned on Raw and SmackDown next week, and we'll talk about doing another video next week after the shows to see how close I was. Put some comments down here below. Let's talk some wrestling. What is your guys' favorite era of wrestling? Who's your favorite wrestler, both current and all time? Like, subscribe, retweet, share, all that fun stuff. And until next time, guys, as always, stay geeky. Peace.